22 4A dive part of the state meet. Sorry, we're having to start a little bit early here. This is Miss J.C. Key, and she is from Magnolia High School. She was doing an inward tuck dive with a degree of difficulty of 1.4, and that starts off the Arkansas State Meet girls 1 meter diving. Now, I want to introduce real quick.
3.5, 4.5, 4.5.
Real quick, this is Steve and Laura Kroll. We will be your commentators for this meet. Next up, we have Miss Izzy Ragsdale from Bauxite High School. She is doing an inward dive pike with a degree of difficulty of 1.5.
She is one of the better divers in the state meet, and that was a really straight up and down dive.
And next we have Kaylee.
4, 4.5, 5, 6, 5.
I apologize. We are having to start in an awkward fashion, so we just apologize right here. This is next up Miss Kaylee Conley from Magnolia High School, and she is doing an inward dive tuck with a degree of difficulty of 1.4.
Kaylee was a little bit to the left there, but she went in very clean, a lot of little splash. 4, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.
And next up we have Allie Carter from Magnolia High School. She is going to be doing a forward dive tuck with a degree of difficulty of 1.2.
And Allie hurt her knee on Tuesday this week, so she's been struggling and had to not practice for 2 days. And the scores are 4.5, 5, 5.5, 5, 5.
Next we are going to have Brooke Bailey from Magnolia High School. She's going to be doing an inward dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.4.
Scores are 4, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, and 5. Mallory Gilbert from Arkadelphia High School. She will be doing a forward somersault straight with a 1.6 degree of difficulty. Nice dive, and the scores are 3.5, 4, 4, 5, 4.5.
Next up is Leah Richard from Clarksville High School. She's going to be doing a forward dive pike and with a difficulty of 1.3.
And the scores are 4, 3.5, 4, 4, 4.5, 4.
Next up, Raquel Webb from Harding Academy. She's doing a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7. That's the highest we've seen yet.
And that looked to me from this angle a really nice dive. Scores are 5, 5.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5. High degree of difficulty and some of our highest scores.
And next we have Hannah Moss. She's from Arkadelphia. She's doing a forward somersault pike, degree of difficulty 1.5.
And she had very little splash, and that scores are 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 6, 5.
Now we're going to start into the boys, and we are going to start with Daniel Sanderson from Clarksville High School. He's doing a forward dive straight with a difficulty of 1.4.
Daniel had great height that time, but over-rotated slightly. Scores are 3, 3.5, 4, 4, 3.5.
Next is Connor Covington from Arkadelphia High School. He's going to be doing a forward somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.6.
Connor went in pretty good there, straight up and down. Scores are 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4, 4.
Next is Wyatt Simmons from Harding Academy doing a forward 1.5 somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. Wow.
That looked good.
That looked really good.
I don't know how his entry was from our angle, but that looked good. Scores are 4.5, 5, 4.5, 5, 4.5. So that tells me his entry was not straight up and down.
Next is Trenton Owens from Clarksville. He is doing a forward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.4.
Good height. I don't know if he was straight before he went in the water. Scores are 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5, 4.
Next up, Tate Stevens from Magnolia High School doing a forward dive tuck with a 1.2 difficulty.
Tate got some height on that. He did kind of almost miss the board on the way back. Scores are 3.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5.
Next is Grant Wiggins from Magnolia High School, probably one of the tallest divers out here. And he is doing an inward dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.4.
That looked pretty good. He didn't have a lot of splash. Scores are 5.5, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5. Good dive for Grant.
Next, Chris Taylor is up, Clarksville High School. He's doing a forward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.4.
Chris really got some height on that. He did get a little extra splash. The scores are 3, 3, 4, 4, 4.
Now we have Sydney Covington, Arkadelphia High School, doing a forward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.3.
That looked really smooth.
Now we're going to start back through with the girls' second dives. We will invite everybody
Scores
to go.
are 4, 5, 5, 5, 4.5.
We're getting back into our groove, everyone here.
Second round here. J.C. Key was a forward dive tuck. Magnolia High School. A little bit of an over rotation there, but she got some good height. The scores are 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.
Izzy Ragsdale is up with, again from Bauxite. She is doing a forward 1.5 somersault pike, difficulty 1.7.
Izzy is a really good diver. That
She's
was
a great diver.
seemed like a really
She's a
nice
great
dive right
diver.
there. Her scores are 5, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, and she had a 1.7 degree difficulty, so she racked up some points there.
Kaylee Conley from Magnolia is doing a forward dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.2.
Kaylee got some great height on that. She did over-rotate slightly, I think, and a little bit more of a splash.
Allie Carter.
3, 4, 4, 4.5, 5.
I'm going to have to learn to wait for those scores. I apologize to everyone. Yeah, next is Allie Carter from Magnolia doing an inward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.5. I know some of you would like to comment. We apologize. It seems like commenting is turned off of the YouTube stream. For those of you, make sure you share that. That was a good dive.
That was a good dive.
That was a good dive.
Scores are 4.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 5.
Brooke Bailey's back up with her second dive, a forward dive tuck at a 1.2 difficulty.
Good dive. She did not quite get all the way over. Her feet hit the ground. She was not straight. Scores are 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 4.5.
And Miss Mallory Gilbert from Arkadelphia is up now with a forward somersault half twist free with a difficulty of 1.7. That's a really interesting dive.
It is. Straight dive and a twist. Scores are 3, 4, 4, 4, 3.5.
Next, Leah Richard from Clarksville is doing a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7. She recovered from that, so I know she can get this dive back.
Scores are 1, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Next, Raquel Webb Harding, a inward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.5.
That was a nice dive. I think she went in pretty much straight up and down and had good height. Scores are 5, 6.5, 6.5, 5.5, 6. That was a good dive, the best dive we've seen tonight.
Hannah Moss from Arkadelphia doing a forward 1.5 somersault pike with a difficulty of 1.7. That looked really good.
That looked really good. She went in nice and straight.
And for all your dive
Scores
parents
are
out there,
4, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 4.5. So there must have been something we didn't see from this angle.
we are not professional dive commentators. I promise you that. But we are trying to make it as good for all of you who are watching. All right, next up we've got Daniel Sanderson. He's our first boy driver on every dive, and he is doing a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7.
That was pretty good. He He almost got all the way over. I think that was not a bad one. A little bit short. 3.5. 4. 4. 4.5. 4.
Next is Connor Covington from Arkadelphia, and he is doing a back somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.5.
He has 20 points at that first dive.
And we do want to thank Bob Laster and Brian Smith, who are our officials tonight. We want to thank them for the time that they are giving.
He got really out there. I think he was a little short on his entry, but he did get some good height. Scores are 3, 4, 5, 4, 4.
Next is Wyatt Simmons from Harding doing a inward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.5.
That was a pretty good dive. I think he went in pretty much straight. Kind of looking at the scores, I think he 5, 5, 5, 4.5, 4.5. He had 22.4 going into this dive.
Trenton Owens is going to be doing a back somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.5.
Oh, he kind of fell a little bit. It does look like he completed the dive according to the scores. 2, 3, 3.5, 2.5, 2.5. That's always tough standing on the edge of the diving board.
Absolutely. Mr. Tate Stevens is going to be doing an inward dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.4, and he's from Magnolia.
He's a freshman, am I correct?
He is a freshman.
That kind of looked pretty good for Tate. I think he did a nice job on that one. Scores are 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5, 5.
Mr. Grant Wiggins is next on deck, and he is doing a forward dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.2. He is a freshman at Magnolia, and he actually does also swim in addition to dive, and his favorite stroke is the free stroke.
He had some height on that one. I don't know if he got straight up and down, but he did get some height. His scores are 5.5, 5.5, 6, 6, 6. That was a good dive for Grant.
Good dive for him. Chris Taylor is up from Clarksville, and he is doing a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7. I did try to get some information about all the swimmers and divers beforehand. Some sent in and some did not. So when I have bits of information now, I will try to be sharing those.
Chris was a little bit short on that dive, but I think he's going to get an okay score because of his height. 3.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 5.
On the board is Sidney Covington. He's going to be doing an inward dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.4. He is a freshman. He's one of these really tall freshman divers we've got out here today from Arkadelphia. His favorite dive is a forward 1.5 straight pike. And his biggest cheerleader in swim and dive is his brother.
That looked like a nice dive. From my angle, that he went in pretty straight. Had good height. 4.5, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5. We'd like to take a moment to
so now we're not going to take that moment because JC is on the board, and she is going to be doing a forward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.4. She is a 9th grader at Magnolia, and she loves, the thing about diving is building a bond with her family and teammates.
That was a nice dive. She did over-rotate just slightly. 3, 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4.
All right. Izzy Ragsdale is back up, and she's doing a back somersault 1.5 twist free. I say that like I know what that actually means, and I don't. But they have given us cliff notes. And, oh.
Wow.
Wow.
Is all I can say.
That's just wow.
There was a lot of spin in there. 1.5 twist, and it was a somersault. And 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5.
Kaylee Conley is going to be doing a forward 1.5 somersault pike with a difficulty of 1.7. And Miss Kaylee, her favorite dive is her front 1.5. That's her favorite one. And her biggest cheerleaders in swim are Allie, Talon, and Carson.
That was a nice height on that dive. She did slightly over-rotate, but it was really good height. Score is 5, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 5.
Allie Carter is back on the board, and she is doing a forward somersault half twist free. And Miss Allie did not give me any information.
I think Allie struggled on that dive. I don't know if she got her half twist in or not. I think they're trying to decide on that. But again, Allie did hurt her knee this week, and
Yeah.
she's toughened through it, you can tell.
She's really struggling, even trying to get out of the pool. I think. Oh, they are going to allow it to
So
be
they
scored.
do allow it to be scored. They did. She did. The question, I think, was, did she get her rotation, her twist? Scores are 3 across the boards.
Yeah. Coach Vogan came in and kind of clarified that. Brooke Bailey is doing a forward somersault tuck. And Miss Brooke is a 9th grader in Magnolia. And her favorite stroke to swim is a backstroke.
She got really good height on that one. Scores are 3, 3, 4, 3.5, 4.
Mallory Gilbert is doing a forward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.3, and she loves doing swim with her friends. She plans on going to Mississippi State.
That was a really nice dive from this angle. She got height and did not have a lot of splash.
Looks like a simple dive, but tough to do.
3.5, 4.5, 5, 5, 4.5. So the judges all saw something different on that one.
And Leah Richard is a 11th grader at Clarksville. She's going to be doing a reverse dive tuck. And her biggest cheerleader in swim is Emma Dunsworth. And she also swims in addition to dive, and her favorite stroke is the freestyle.
That was a quick turn. I'm interested to see what the scores are going to be on this one. And we hadn't seen that one, this dives yet.
Right.
Scores are 1.5, 1, 3, 3, 2.
Some range of scores on that one.
Yes.
All right, Raquel Webb is going to be doing a forward 1.5 somersault pike. And she is an 11th grader at Harding Academy, and she loves to swim the breaststroke in addition to dive. And all of her family are mom and dad, brothers and little sisters.
Oh, that looks so good until the entry. The entry was a little short, but in the air that looked really good. But she might have got a lot of points in the air. 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 5.
All right, next Miss Hannah Moss, and she is doing a forward somersault half twist free. And she is a senior at Arkadelphia. Her favorite dive is the forward 1.5 pike somersault. Oh, that looked pretty clean.
I did. 5s across the board. That was a good dive.
She was told to join a club sophomore for college applications, so she came home and told her she joined dive. That's what she told her mom, and that's how she got into diving. Next is Daniel Sanderson, who is doing a reverse dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
Oh, he got a lot of height, but he over-rotated, tried to grab it at the end, so I'm not sure exactly what he's going to get. Two, 2.5, 2.
All right, Connor Covington from Arkadelphia is going to be doing a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. Again, this is Steve and Laura Crowell. We are your commentators for today and tomorrow.
The scores are 3.5, 4, 4, 4, 4. And again, diving is so hard. These kids actually make it look really easy.
Wyatt Simmons is going to be doing a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7. He has another 2 1.7 difficulties on deck for his dives today. And Wyatt's a 10th grader at Harding, and he also swims and loves freestyle.
That was a nice dive. Just twisted a little. 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5.
Trenton Owens is going to be doing a reverse dive tuck, difficulty 1.6. And he is from Clarksville.
That looked like a nice dive. He got height, and he looked straight up and down.
Vogan even gave it a thumbs up.
5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.
I was wondering how they remembered all of these. And they have all of what they're supposed to be diving all back on the wall back there. All right, Tate Stevens is up with a forward 1.5 somersault tuck from Magnolia High School, 9th grader. He has a little brother and a little sister who are here as his cheerleaders along with a lot of his family.
It was a nice 1.5 somersault. He didn't quite get all the way over, but he should have a good score. 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 5.5. Range of scores right there.
Now Grant Wiggins is up, and he's doing a forward 1.5 somersault tuck with a difficulty 1.6. Now, this is Grant's first or second year diving?
I believe it's his first.
I think it's his first year diving. Actually, yes, I know it is because he's a 9th grader. Which is pretty darn impressive.
That's impressive. His height was really good there. He might have over-rotated just a hair. 5.5, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 5.
They probably saw a little bit of splash that we missed. All right, Chris Taylor doing a reverse dive tuck, 1.6 difficulty.
Great height on that.
That was a lot of height. That was up there. I don't know if we got it all in camera. I looked down.
4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5.
All right, Sydney Covington is going to be doing a forward somersault pike with a difficulty of 1.5, and his favorite thing about his swimming and diving career has been his teammates. And he learned to slalom ski when he was 6.
That was a pretty looking dive. I think he was just a hair short, but that was a really good dive.
Now, grandparents, mamas, daddies.
5.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 6.
Grandparents, mamas, daddies, if I'm not reading anything off or telling you any interesting facts about your beloved child or grandchild, they did not return my survey. So you can talk to them about that. Here's JC Key doing an inward somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty. And she loves to dive. Another thing is she does cheer.
Scores are 4, 3.5, 4.5, 4.5, 3.5.
All right, the fabulous diver Izzy is back on, and she's doing a back 1.5 somersault with a difficulty of a 2.0, which I think she does all the above twos.
And she is actually in the lead after 3 rounds with an 86 point something.
And that was an over-rotated dive.
She over-rotated that. She couldn't stop. 3.5, 4, 4.5, 4.5. But understand, that's a 2.0
yeah, and
dive.
she likes scary dives. I mean, she told us that. She likes scary dives. Kaylee Conley is going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty. And Kaylee plans to go to college and then go to med school.
And Kaylee is in 4th place after the 3rd round.
And she loves the overnight meets and spending time with her team.
What? 5, 4.5, 5, 5, 5. If you look over there, they're dumping towels in these buckets because that's hot water to get themselves warmer because it is cold in that water.
Cold. Allie Carter's up doing a forward somersault pike, and Allie did not give me any information.
That one could have ended up pretty good because she came around and looked like she went straight in. 5, 4.5, 5, 5, 5.
All right, Brooke Bailey is going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty. And Miss Brooke, her biggest cheerleaders are Allie and her parents. And favorite thing has been the feeling of doing good on a hard dive. And she plans to go to the U of A.
Go Razorbacks. I don't think she quite got over on that one. 3, 3.5, 4, 3.
Now we have Mallory Gilbert, who's going to be doing a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7. She loves her inward pike dive, and her biggest cheerleaders are her parents.
Four and a half, 4, 4.
Leah Richard, inward dive pike.
Now we've got Leah Richard doing an inward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.5. And she looks like they're trying to figure out some of the computer stuff.
I think they're changing her dive, which changes her difficulty a little bit.
Okay, so she is still doing an inward dive, and Miss Leah loves being in dive and plans to go to college after high school. And she likes to hunt and fish.
And that was a good-looking dive. Must have been just a little under-rotating, but the scores are 4, 3, 4, 4, 3.5.
Now we've got Raquel Webb with a reverse somersault tuck, difficulty of 1.6, and she has coming on after this one her most difficult dive with a difficulty of 2.3.
She is in 1st place after 3 rounds. My mistake, she's in 2nd place after 3 rounds. Her score is 4.5, 5, 5.5, 5, 5.
Now we have Hannah Moss. She's going to be doing a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
And she's in 3rd place by 1 point.
She loves pushing herself and learning new skills she never imagined she would do because of dive.
4.5.
4.5. 4.5. 5. 5.
4.5.
4.5.
Daniel Sanderson.
Now we're going to the boys. Daniel Sanderson doing his fourth dive, an inward dive tuck with a 1.4 difficulty.
He got good height off that, so it'll be interesting to see how he did. Scores are 3, 3, 4, 4, 3.5.
All right, Connor Covington on the board,
Inward somersault.
doing an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
The other divers liked that dive. Scores are
4.5.
4.5,
4.5.
4.5,
4.5.
4.5, 4.5,
3.5.
3.5.
So Mr. Wyatt Simmons is going to be doing a forward dive straight at a difficulty of 1.4, and he plans to play football at Harding University. Not often probably you see a diver playing football, but he is good at it. And one interesting thing, he likes baguettes.
And he is in second place after 3 rounds. White got a lot of height on that, and it seemed like he went in good,
It's
yes.
the baguettes. I love
Scores
it.
are 4.5, 5, 5, 5.5, 5. So he had a good dive there.
Trenton Owens going to be doing an inward dive tuck with a 1.4 difficulty.
He did just a slight over rotation. Scores are 3, 3, 3.5, 4, 3.5. I'm trying not to do golf scoring, but that's all you can do when you're calling the scores.
Oh, it is. Tate Stevens going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. Talked to his mama a little while ago, and she said he was very nervous. So far, he's doing great, but all of the divers I know get nervous. But no matter what school they're from, they all encourage each other, we have seen.
I want to say that he went in pretty straight that time on that one. And I think the scores are going to reflect that. 3, 3, 3, 3.5, 3. Evidently, I was wrong.
It's hard to see from this angle. Grant Wiggins is back up doing an inward somersault tuck at 1.6 difficulty, and he plans to become a pediatric surgeon.
And Grant is in second place by 0.5 point.
That's pretty close.
After
That's
3 rounds.
really close. And his biggest cheerleaders are his teammates and his parents.
He came around pretty good that time. We're going to see. Yep, I was going to say he came around really good that time.
Yeah, he did.
6 across the board.
Wow, that was great for Grant. He's got a big smile. He is excited. That was a big smile coming out hearing that. All right, Chris Taylor going to be doing an inward dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.4.
And Chris is in 4th place, but he's not that many points behind.
It's always interesting to me see how they start these dives. And really scary how close they come to the board sometimes.
I want to say he was pretty good on that one because he went in pretty straight. 5, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5. So he did go in pretty straight, had a nice dive.
All right, Sydney Covington is going to be doing a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. Again, he learned to slalom ski when he was 6, which I think is pretty fun.
And Sydney is in third, sorry. Sydney got a lot of height on that, and he came out quite a ways, so I don't know if that's going to deduct some points. 3.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5.
And we're going into dive 5. Starting into Miss J.C. Key back, doing a forward somersault half twist, free, difficulty 1.7. See, I want to say if it's got a longer name, it's more difficult, but that is not necessarily the case.
It's some pretty good height, nice half twist. I think she's going to be okay on that one. 4, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 4.
All right, Izzy is going to be doing a reverse 1.5 somersault tuck with a difficulty of 2.1. I'm going to say it quickly because she has some really interesting things. She loves to continue to grow, and when it comes to getting new skills, and she loves what God does for her this way.
Izzy got a really nice turn or flip on that, but she did not quite hold it, but she still should have, 4, 4.5, 4.5, 5.
You could tell on her entry.
Yes, but in the air, it was amazing.
Kaylee Conley is going to be doing a back somersault half twist free with a 1.7 difficulty. And one interesting thing is she was a cheerleader for about 11 years. So we see a lot of times cheerleaders are pretty successful divers.
I think that was a good dive for Kaylee. I think that was a really good dive. 4, 5, 5, 4.5, 5. So she did have a decent dive that time.
She did. Allie Carter is going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
Allie went around pretty quick that time. I think that's going to be a good dive on Allie. Good entry. 5, 5, 5, 4.5, 5.5. That was a pretty good dive.
Next is Brooke Bailey. She's going to be doing a forward somersault half twist free. Difficulty 1.7. And Miss Brooke, her favorite thing to do is read.
Brooke went in a little bit to the side that time, so she's going to get a little point deducted. 3.5, 3.5, 4, 4, 3.5. Half twist and a somersault.
That's
I would
hard.
go in on my belly.
Back somersault half twist free is what Miss Mallory Gilbert is going to be doing for her 5th dive. And it's a difficulty of a 1.5.
She did a great job in the air. I don't know if she went in totally straight. I think that's going to cost her a little bit, but she should have good scores. Scores are 4.5, 4.5, 4, 4, 4.
And Miss Mallory coaches gymnastics. Interesting fact about her. Leah Richard is going to be doing a back dive half twist straight with a 1.8 difficulty.
So she did a straight twist in. The judges are trying to decide if she made the full twist that she needed. 2,
2.5,
2.5,
2.5,
2.5,
2,
2, 2.
Raquel Webb,
All right, next is Raquel Webb doing a back somersault 1.5 twist free. And this is a 2.3. This is her most difficult dive.
And she just steps up with confidence. And I think she probably nailed that one.
I think so too.
I mean, nailed it.
5,
5,
6,
6, 5,
5.5,
5.5, 5.5. That was a good dive.
That was a good dive.
Hannah Moss, back
Hannah Moss
somersault
is next
straight.
up with a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7. Miss Hannah is from Arkadelphia High School.
That was a nice looking dive also. From our angle, that was a really nice looking dive.
And she plans to go to OBU.
5, 5.5,
5.5,
5.5,
5.5,
5.5,
5.
5. So she had a good dive.
Yeah, she wants to go to OBU and major in biomedical sciences.
Back dive.
All right, Daniel Sanderson starts off our boys with their 5th dive, doing a back dive half twist straight, difficulty 1.8.
Failed dive.
They gave him a failed dive on that
Yeah,
one.
that
He didn't
one-
quite get the turnaround.
Didn't get the
So
rotation.
frustrating for these kids because
Yeah.
they worked so
Worked
hard.
so hard.
But it is an amazing sport and really hard to do.
Reverse dive. tuck.
Connor Covington is going to be attempting a reverse dive tuck at a difficulty of 1.6. And he is also from Arkadelphia. That was
A
some
good looking
height.
dive. He had height. I think he went in pretty straight. Stores show me he was a little short actually. So 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. The height on that was amazing though.
All right, for his 5th dive, Wyatt Simmons is going to be doing a back somersault 1 twist free with a difficulty of 1.9, and his biggest cheerleaders in swim are his teammates. And so far, he loved the conference dive meet. That has been his favorite thing about his swim career.
He is in 2nd place right now with 88 points after 4 rounds. That was a full twist back somersault. A little bit of splash, a little over rotation, but he should get a good score. 3.5, 4, 4, 4, 4.
Next up, Trenton Owens is going to be doing his 5th dive, and that's a forward somersault half twist free with a difficulty of 1.7.
I think that was a pretty decent dive. He didn't quite get the height, but he did get good entry. 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.
And for his 5th dive, I cannot talk right at the moment, Tate Stevens is going to be doing a forward somersault half twist free. Y'all all try to say that really quickly. And that has a difficulty of a 1.7.
So what's interesting about some of these dives is the higher difficulty, even if they get an okay score, they keep up with the person that might have done a more
Right.
difficult. Tate looked really good there. 4.5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
All right. Mr. Grant Wiggins is going to be doing for his 5th dive a back somersault 1 twist free with a 1.9 difficulty.
And after that last dive, Grant had a high degree of difficulty. He took the lead by almost 10 points.
Wow. And again, Mr. Grant is a 9th grader.
Now his legs came apart a little bit at the top, so they're looking at his dive closely.
They're going to say it's a failed dive.
Failed dive.
Chris Taylor, reverse dive, half twist tuck.
All right, Chris Taylor is going to be doing a reverse dive half twist tuck with a difficulty of 1.7.
Chris got up in the air. He had a hard time turning, but I think he went in pretty straight. So they're going to deduct the turn a little bit, but he's going to get a decent score. 4.5. 4, 4, 4, 3.5.
Sydney Covington is going to do an inward somersault tuck for his 5th dive. He's from Arkadelphia High School, and he plans to go to college.
And Sydney is in 3rd place after 4 rounds. He got around pretty quick on that and looked pretty straight entry to me. 5, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5.
We are now on the downhill side of things. And Miss JC Key is going to start off her 6th dive with a back dive straight at a difficulty of 1.7.
Back dive straight.
And I think the difficulty being up, even though it's what seems may look like a simpler dive, is because she's having to start off not looking at the water.
Lots of claps right after that one. I think that was an okay score.
4.5.
4.5, yes. 4.5. 5, 5.5, 4.5. That was a good dive.
All right. Now we've got Izzy Ragsdale doing a reverse somersault pike with a difficulty of 1.7.
And Izzy is in 1st place by a point and a
She
half.
plans on studying botany in her home state and focus on spending time with the people and pets that she loves.
Scores are 4, 5, 4.5, 5, 5.
Kaylee Conley, back dive straight.
Kaylee Conley is going to be doing a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7. I do want to mention that these Magnolia divers are doing all of this without a pool. You got that. They drive over here to Texarkana for their practices, which is an hour and 15-minute drive when they do it.
Scores are
4.5.
4.5, 4, 4.5,
4.5.
4.5, 5.
Allie Carter.
All right, next is Allie Carter doing a back dive straight, again from Magnolia, with a difficulty of 1.7.
1.7 is a pretty high degree of difficulty. We'll see how she does on this one. There was not a lot of splash on that one, but the height wasn't. Oh yeah, 5, 4.5, 4, 5, 4.5. Not bad.
Okay, Brooke Bailey is doing a back dive straight, difficulty of 1.7. And Miss Brooke, what's one interesting thing about her is that she likes to read.
That looked pretty good. I think she's going to get a good score on that one. 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 4.5. Pretty good.
Mallory Gilbert is up next with a reverse somersault tuck, 1.6 difficulty, and that's going to be for her 6th dive. They will be doing 11 dives today.
She had really good height on that one.
4,
4,
4,
4,
4 and a half,
4 and a half,
4 and a half,
4 and a half,
4.
4.
Leah Richard, forward
All right,
somersault
Leah
tuck.
Richard is going to be doing a forward somersault tuck at a difficulty of 1.4, and she is from Clarksville.
Scores are
4 and a half,
4 and a half,
3 and a half,
3 and a half,
4,
4,
4 and a half,
4 and a half,
3 and a half.
3 and a half.
Raquel Webb,
Now we've got Raquel Webb doing her 6th dive. It's a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7. She's an 11th grader at Harding and also does swimming.
That looked pretty good. She had nice height and an entry was a very small splash.
5,
5,
5 and a half,
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 5 and a half, 5 and a half.
All right, we've got Hannah Moss doing a back dive straight
Hannah
with a
Moss.
difficulty of
back dive
1.7.
straight.
And she says she's going to go major in biomedical sciences. I think I mentioned that before. Her biggest cheerleaders are her family, her boyfriend Tate, and her team. She said, of course, her team.
Looked really smooth. I think that's going to be good scores. Maybe a little under rotation, but good scores. 4 and a half, 5, 5, 5 and a half, 4 and a half. Nice dive.
All right, Daniel Sanderson again kicks off the 6th dive for the boys. It's a forward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.4.
That seemed like a really nice dive. Yep, that went in good. 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5, 5, 4 and a half. It was a good dive for him.
All right, Connor Covington comes up to do his 6th dive, and it's a forward somersault half twist free, difficulty of 1.7.
Scores are 4 and a half, 5, 4 and a half, 5, 4 and a half.
And Mr. Wyatt Simmons is back on deck for his 6th dive, a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
And Wyatt is in second place right now. Now, he did have a little bit of a splash at the end, but his height was so good, he's going to make up some points for that. 5, 5, 4 and a half, 5, 4 and a half.
I wasn't looking at the screenshot, but I think he might have gone off camera with that one.
Forward 1.5 somersault.
All right, Trenton Owens doing his 6th dive, a forward 1.5 somersault tuck at a 1.6 difficulty. Again, thank you to Bob Laster and Brian Smith as our officials tonight who are donating their time.
Somersault was really good. 1.5 somersault. He was really good. He over-rotated a little bit. He's going to make up 5, 5, 5, 5 and a half, 4 and a half.
Tate Stevens' 6th dive is going to be a back dive straight with a 1.7 difficulty.
And Tate is barely in 4th place by a half a point. Tate did over-rotate a little bit on that. His feet came over and splashed the water.
3 and a half.
3.5, 4,
4.
4 and a half,
4 and a half.
4 and a half,
4 and a half.
4 and a half.
All right, Grant Wiggins is back up for his sixth dive, and I know he wants to redeem himself with this reverse dive tuck at a 1.6 difficulty. He wants to get a dive that counts for this one.
Grant did over-rotate. I think he's pushing a little hard since he missed that one dive. 3, 3, 4, 4 and a half, 4 and a half. And diving is sometimes so mental that you have to just think through your dives and try and make up things.
Right. Chris Taylor's sixth dive is going to be a forward 1.5 somersault tuck, difficulty of 1.6.
And Chris jumped into third place after his last dive. The somersault seemed okay. I think he over-rotated. 4 and a half, 3 and a half, 4 and a half, 4, 4. So he did over-rotate slightly, but he's still going to get an okay score out of that.
Mr. Sidney Covington's sixth dive is going to be a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7. So we'll look to see how he's going to round out and end out the men's group of divers.
And after his last dive, he jumped into first place from third.
Oh, wow. That was a big jump. They can move quickly with high difficulty.
That looked really good. That's a
This
hard
looked
dive,
very
and he made it
clean.
look very simple.
It looks like an easy dive.
4 and a half, 5, 5 and a half, 5, 4 and a half. So the judges saw something a little different, but it's still a nice dive.
So now we're starting into these number 7 dives, and JC Key is going to do a reverse dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
Jason's last couple dives have been really good. Really good. 5, 5 and a half, 5, 5, 5 and a half.
All right, Miss Izzy is back up, and she's doing a forward 1.5 somersault, 1 twist free with a difficulty of 2.2. Second most difficult dive. She has 2 2.2 dives that she will be doing, this one and one right afterwards.
And Izzy in second place by 3 points.
That just amazes me.
The aerial is amazing.
Wow.
She didn't quite get a straight entry, but
No.
she did do it here. 4 and a half, 4 and a half, 5, 5 and a half, 4 and a half. But that was a high degree of
But
difficulty.
high difficulty, so it's not a 6, but it's a 2.2 difficulty. So Kaylee Conley from Magnolia is doing her 7th dive, and it's a reverse dive tuck at a difficulty of 1.6.
She got 31 points in that last dive, even though she got little lower scores. That's the degree of difficulty makes a huge difference. Kaylee had some good height, and she went in pretty straight. I think that's going to be an okay dive for her. She's going to get decent scores. 5, 4 and a half, 5, 5, 5. So she did have a nice little dive there.
All right, Allie Carter's 7th dive is going to be a back somersault straight with a 1.7 difficulty.
Now this is the dive that it looks like it's simple, but it is really hard to make it look good and enter in straight.
Right, and remembering these divers from Magnolia don't get to dive every day and practice.
Every Tuesday.
It's every Tuesday.
I think she did a nice job on that one, but she came in pretty straight. 5, 5, 5, 5, 4 and a half.
All right, Brooke Bailey's 7th dive is going to be a reverse dive tuck with a 1.6%, I want to say percent difficulty. I know that's not correct. Don't know why I started saying that.
That looked good. She went in really straight that time, so I'm hoping she did that good.
2, 3.5.
3.5, 3, 3, 3.5. I don't know what what I saw that they did.
All right. Now, Mallory Gilbert from Arkadelphia's 7th dive is going to be a reverse dive tuck with a 1.6 difficulty. I do want to say a thank you to Farmers Bank and Trust and People's Bank as sponsors for our meet.
Three and a half, 4, 4.5, 4.5.
All right, Leah Richard is going to do a back somersault tuck, 1.5 difficulty for her 7th dive. And I do want to say a huge thank you to Southern Arkansas University Media Department and Brian Lee. The reason you have this live stream is because Brian is over here.
That's the nice thing about small towns is everybody works together. That was a good little dive by Leah. 4, 4.5, 4, 3.5.
All right, Raquel Webb is going to be doing her 7th dive at back somersault 1 twist free with a difficulty of 1.9. She does have some 2.2s on deck.
And after her last dive, she jumped into first place also by 3 points. That looked really good. The twist was nice. I think the entry was really good, straight up and down. A little splash. 5.5, 6, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5. What was the degree of difficulty on that one?
That was a 1.9.
So she got a lot of points that time.
Hannah Moss is going to be doing our 7th dive, and it's an inward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.7. I'm sorry, 1.5. Apologize.
And Hannah jumped into 3rd after that last dive that she had such good scores on. I think that was a pretty good dive. She had good entry. 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 5.5. Good job.
All right. Starting into the boys and saying big thank you to Southern Title and Closing for being one of our sponsors. We're trying to get our sponsors in. We've been so focused on getting our groove into getting this announced. We have messed it up and not done that. All right, Daniel Sanderson's doing his 7th dive, a back somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.5.
Did see a little bit of a splash on that one. Daniel got 3, 3, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5.
All right, Connor Covington is going to be doing a back dive straight, 1.7 difficulty for his 7th dive.
Now Connor is in 3rd place by 10/100ths of a point.
10/100ths. That's really, really close. While we're setting up, thank you to Bodcaw Bank also.
Not a lot of splash on that one. He did go a long ways away. I don't know if that's a deduction or not, but he did not have a lot of splash. 4.5, 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4.
All right, Wyatt Simmons is going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6 for his 7th dive. And we're going to say thank you to Bancorp South and Centennial Bank also. We've got a lot of banks that are supporting us
and
for this meet. Thank you so much.
Because this wouldn't be possible without y'all.
It would not.
Wyatt is in 2nd place. Wyatt got a lot of height. I thought he went in pretty straight. We'll see by the scores. 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5. What was the difficulty on that one?
That was
Trenton Owens,
a
back dive
1.6. All right, Trenton Owens is going to be doing a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7 for his 7th dive. Also want to say a huge thank you to Central Elementary with Gwen O'Gwen, Becky White, and Tammy Rogers sponsoring this meet.
Trenton had a nice little dive there. I think he did a good job. It looked really smooth. 5, 5, 4.5, 5, 4.5.
His teammates are really making sure they support. So,
reverse dive.
all right, Tate Stevens doing a reverse dive tuck with a 1.6 difficulty on dive number 7.
And Tate is in 4th place by that 1 or the 10 100, whatever. 10 100, 1 100.
Are we going to go back to math?
Easier for easy. Tate had a really high dive. He did under rotate. It will cost him a few points, but he's still looking pretty good. 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5, 5.
All right, Grant Wiggins is doing a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6 on his 7th dive. And our last major sponsor is Edward Jones, me, Laura Kroll.
Laura Kroll. Grant got a lot of height on that one. I think he just under rotated, but he did get some good heights. 4.5, 5, 5, 4.5, 5.5. So he had a range of scores, but I think he's, with the difficulty, he got some points.
Back somersault tuck.
All right, Chris Taylor is coming up to do his back somersault tuck with a 1.5 difficulty on dive number 7. I think he put a big smile out to the fans out there.
And Chris is in 5th place by only 1 point.
I know that for most people, swim is not a spectator sport, but we have quite the spectators number here. Good dive.
Yeah, I want to say he under rotated, but he had good height. 4, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5. So he did pretty good on that one. I do like his energy.
He does, has good energy. Sydney Covington is going to be doing a back somersault half twist free with a difficulty of 1.7. Again, I always think the longer that they are, the bigger difficulty they need to have because it takes us longer to say them.
And Sydney is still in 1st place.
And they look so much more difficult. And I will apologize to all the dive experts out there. We are not dive experts.
5, 4.5, 5.5, 4.5, 4.5. We do get to watch it because our daughter swims, but we don't necessarily know everything or anything about it. We're punting.
So please give us some grace if we do mess something up. All right, JC Key is going to be doing her 8th dive to start off this round, doing a back somersault tuck at a difficulty of 1.6.
And let's be honest, if they didn't have the dives written out for us, we'd be like a flipper-dooey and a
We
twist.
would have no idea what they were doing. They have written us an
3.5,
entire cheat sheet.
4, 4.5, 4.5.
Yeah, they have written, and then they threw us off course because they started early, so which never happens, but it did. So Miss Izzy is going to be doing an inward 1.5 somersault tuck with a difficulty of a whopping 2.2.
And Miss Izzy is in 2nd place by 3 points. Wow.
That was a great
Wow.
dive. Wow.
That's
Wow.
going to get some points.
That was a great dive.
5.5, 6,
That'll-
6, 6.5, 5.5.
That's going to
We may not know much, but we do know
we
a
do
good
know
dive.
that one. Kaylee Conley is going to be doing a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of
Allie Gardner.
1.6.
Reverse somersault tuck.
No, Coach.
No, wrong person. Where are we going?
They had to swap out announcers, and Coach Vogan had a difficulty knowing who was up to dive.
But we do want to give Coach Vogan
yes.
so much credit for helping out, especially the last 2 weeks. Magnolia's pool had an issue, so they had to drive over here and practice
Every day.
for 2 weeks.
Every day for 2 weeks.
That one looked pretty good.
Yeah, without
From this
Coach
angle,
Vogan.
it looked really good.
Yeah.
4.5, 4.5, 5, half, 5, 5. Not bad.
Now it is Allie Carter's turn to do her 8th dive, a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. And again, a huge thank you to Coach Vogan, his entire staff, the Texarkana School District that is so gracious to let us come over and swim here.
That was a good looking dive. I think she nailed that. And nope, she just under rotated. I thought I was going to say 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5. But that's the nice thing about this community is they care and they will do whatever they can to let these kids have this experience.
Brooke Bailey's going to be doing a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6 for her 8th dive. Thank you to Farmers Bank again and Bodcaw.
Brooke came around pretty good on that. She did not quite get the height, but she should be 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4, 4.5.
Now Mallory Gilbert is going to be doing an inward dive pike with a difficulty of 1.5.
That was a good looking dive. Four, 5, 5.5, 4. So the judges all saw different things because there was a range of scores there.
All right, Leah Richards up for a forward dive half twist pike. Difficulty 1.7. Again, dive 8.
I'm sorry, I was looking away at the moment. She did 3, 4, 3.5, 4, 3.5. Leah Richardson.
All right, Raquel Webb is going to be doing an inward 1.5 somersault tuck with a difficulty of 2.2. This will be her 2nd highest dive. She will finish all of her dives with another 2.2, but this one will be her 2nd highest dive to date.
That was a good looking dive. Felt like she got the height, and I felt like her entry was pretty good. 5.5, 6, 6, 6, 5.5.
All right, Hannah Moss doing an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6 on her 8th dive. Big thank you to Southern Title and Closing and Bancorp South and Central Elementary. And Central Elementary is sponsored by Gwen O'Gwen, Becky White, and Tammy Rogers. Thank you, thank you.
Hannah Moss with that dive. Scores are 3.5, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 3.5.
Daniel Sanderson, reverse somersault tuck.
All right, Daniel Summerson is going to be doing a reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6 on his 8th dive. Thank you to People's Bank and Centennial Bank and Edward Jones Laura Crowell.
Daniel got a lot of height. He struggled to get over on that one, so I'm not sure what they're going to do. They did give him the dive. 2.5. 2, 2, 2.5, 2.
Connor Covington, forward.
All right, Connor Covington's going to be doing forward 1.5 somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
That dive looked pretty good. He just over-rotated, I think. 3, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Tough dive. Really tough dive.
All right, Wyatt Simmons is going to be doing a back somersault half twist free with a difficulty of 1.7.
Wyatt Smith has 160.5 points. First place is 160.95. I want to say that ended up pretty good for Wyatt. Yes, it did. 5s across the board. Good job, Wyatt.
All right, Trenton Owens coming up to do an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6 on his number 8.
Trenton got scores of 4.5, 5, 5, 4.5, 4.5.
All right, Tate is back to do his reverse somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty. So we'll see how dive number 8 turns out for Tate. Oh, that rhymed.
And Tate is in 4th place still. Tate got a lot of height on that one. I'm not sure if he did under rotate, but he did get in the air. It looked good. 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5, 5.
All right, Grant Wiggins is going to do his back dive straight. 1.7 difficulty for dive number 8.
He made that look good. I mean, he's tall, he's lanky, and it just looked smooth.
And you had
5.5 across the boards. Good job.
wow, and Chris Taylor from Clarksville was cheering about that. And he is up next to do his reverse somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. Some of the kids saved their most difficult for very last. Some put them in the center. Some just sprinkle them all the way through.
Chris is in 3rd place.
Okay.
Chris got a lot of height on that one. I think he had a really nice dive. 4, 5, 5, 5, 4.5.
All right, Sydney Covington's going to end out our guys for the 8th dive, doing a back somersault 1 twist free with a 1.9 difficulty. This is actually his most difficult dive
Back somersault.
that he will be doing tonight.
And Sydney is in 1st place right now.
He's just had consistently good dives all the way through. And he is, remember, a 9th grader at Arkadelphia.
Well, he's going to have a good career diving now.
Yes.
Thought that was a pretty decent dive. Did not quite get the turn. 4, 5, 5, 4.5, 4.5. And you know what? The human factor in this is the judges expect good divers to dive, and it's, you know, they can always downgrade them by a half a point because
All right.
they're like, he should have nailed that, but he did a great job.
Starting into dive 9. We only have this dive and 2 more. And dive 9 for JC Key is going to be a back somersault straight with a 1.7 difficulty.
.7. That was a difficult dive.
1.5.
1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 2.5.
All right, Izzy is going to now do a back somersault straight with a 1.7 difficulty for her 9th dive.
Izzy going into that dive was in second place by 3 points.
And that was such a clean entry, but we didn't see something.
4.5,
they
4.5, 5, 5.5, 5.
All right, Kaylee Conley from Magnolia doing a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7 for her 9th dive. Again, thank you to Bob Laster and Brian Smith, who are our officials who are donating their time tonight. We do truly appreciate it, and appreciate Brian Lee for being here and giving us this entire broadcast tonight and tomorrow. When you see Brian, or if you know Brian, say thank you.
Kaylee had a pretty decent dive right there. 5.5. 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5. And she's in the water. She was nodding her head yes, so she knows she nailed that one.
She did. All right, Allie Carter is going to be doing a reverse dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. All right, I'm going to say some thank yous again. Southern Arkansas University Media Department, thank you for this entire broadcast. We appreciate it.
And Southern Arkansas has given all the kids T-shirts and bags. Allie Carter just entered the water, and I think she did a good dive, a little bit short, but she did a really nice dive. 5, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5.
All right, Brooke Bailey, the 9th grader from Magnolia, is going to be doing a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7 on her 9th dive. Thank you to Bancorp South and Centennial Bank for being our sponsors tonight and tomorrow. If you don't have anything to do, come to Texarkana. Come watch.
Scores are 4, 4.5, 5, 5, 5.
All right, Mallory Gilbert is going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
Mallory just under-rotated slightly, but she got decent height on that one. I think she's going to get a good, decent score. 4.5s across the board. Good job.
Leah Richard comes up to do her inward dive with a half twist pike and a difficulty of 1.7. Where does she stand right now?
She's about mid-pack. Leah's going to get that dive. She got the twist in there, and she did get in. Two and a half. 3. 2.5. 2.5. 2.
Now Raquel Webb comes up to do her reverse dive tuck with a 1.6 difficulty.
Before this dive, she is in first place by 3 points. Good looking dive. I think she came up just a little short getting around. So she got the following scores of 4.5 across the board. But that was difficulty of what?
That was a difficulty of a 1.6.
So she got some pretty good points even.
All right, Hannah Moss is going to be doing an inward 1.5 somersault tuck with a whopping difficulty of a 2.2. This is her most difficult dive. So we'll see. She takes any extra time here at the end of the board.
I just wanted to tell you, after that last dive, she's still in first place by a half a point. That was a good-looking little dive. Her somersault was really nice. She entered pretty decent. I think she should get good scores. 4.5. 5. 5. 4.5. 4.5.
And remember, this is the girl who said that she just came home and her mom had told her she needed to, join a club or something, and she was thinking more like a reading club or something, not the diving club. All right, Daniel Sanderson, he's going to be doing an inward somersault tuck to start the guys off on their 9th dive with a difficulty of 1.6.
I just want to point out that third place in the men's division right now, there are 4 guys within 2 points.
Wow, that can change. Everything can change very quickly.
5, 4.5, 5, 5, 4.5. That was a good dive for him.
All right, Connor Covington is going to be doing an inward dive pike at a difficulty of 1.5 to start his 9th dive. I think it's getting cold in here. Some of the divers are huddled around the hot water bucket. That indicates it's cold.
Got some good height on that. He did over-rotate slightly, but it still should be a good dive for Connor. 3.5, 4, 4.5, 4, 4.
All right, Wyatt Simmons is going to come up and do a back dive straight with a difficulty of 1.7.
Wyatt is in second place by 1.55 points.
I just love his most interesting thing. I know I talked about it before. He loves baguettes. For one, he knows how to spell baguettes. And for 2, he loves baguettes. That's just fun.
You got a lot of height. I think that was a clean entry, so I think that's going to be a good dive for Wyatt. 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5. That was a really good dive for him.
Yeah. All right, Trenton Owens is going to do a reverse somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty.
Got really good height. I don't know if he got all the way over, so it might cost him a half a point here and there. 4, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. He's happy with that, and so is the crowd. That's great.
Back somersault straight.
Tate Stevens will be doing a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7. I do have to say that I think he probably has the most of a family here. I think they're taking up nearly 3 rows of some bleachers.
That looked like a pretty good dive. He went in straight. It was really tight in the air. 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 5.5.
All right, Grant Wiggins doing a forward somersault half twist free with a 1.7 on the difficulty scale.
I do want to point this out, that Grant is within that group that is 2 points apart, even after he missed a dive. That's pretty impressive.
Now, I know the chat is not turned on the live stream, which is where we last year found a lot of information. But they do 11 dives. Do they only count 10?
You act like I know what's going on. That was a good dive by Grant. 5.5, 5.5, 6, 6, 5.5, 5.5.
I think they only count 10. I don't know where I'm drawing that from because my wealth of knowledge is pretty low.
Inward somersault tuck.
But I think that's right. I don't have a chat in the YouTube stream to tell me if I'm wrong. So, all right. Next up is Chris Taylor. He's going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a difficulty of 1.6.
And all I'm doing is writing down the scores and just putting them in order.
He's got a little tally sheet.
Chris Tuck 5, 5, 5, 5.5, 4.5. Good job for Chris Taylor.
All right, Sydney Covington going to be doing a reverse dive tuck with a difficulty of 1.6. Ending out our last dive for the boys on their 9th dive.
And Sydney is still in first place. Wow, he just did that right away.
That was very quick for us. I have a lot of
And
time
he
to talk.
did not quite get all the way around, but he still had a nice dive. 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Okay, I wanted to point this out. I did talk about Grant Wiggins. Grant Wiggins has jumped into 3rd place.
Wow. All right. JC Key doing her 10th dive, back somersault half twist free with a difficulty of 1.7. And that ties several other 1.7s for her grouping of most difficult dives.
And she had a nice twist on that. I'm not sure if she over-rotated. I am going to not tell you what their placing is from now on in case they do eliminate a dive, so we don't have anybody unduly excited.
We will
4,
be in trouble.
3.5, 3.5,
They can't
4,
comment on the
4.
YouTube stream, though. All right. Izzy is doing a forward 2 somersaults tuck with a 2.2 difficulty. This again ties her 2nd highest difficulty.
Wow.
Wow. She just rotates so quickly
That was
on
amazing.
those.
4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5.
Kaylee Conley is going to be doing a reverse somersault half twist with free with a 1.8 is this degree of difficulty.
So they take the top 10 scores. Just trying to get clarification on whether they eliminate a dive or not. 4, 5, 4, 5. And I did not get clarification.
Okay, so that didn't help us any. All right, Allie Carter is going to be doing a back somersault half twist free, 1.7 on the difficulty scale.
But if you tune in tomorrow, I promise we know a lot more about swimming.
That is true. Diving, we love it. We just don't have a lot of experience with it. Some of you may be questioning why they had us as commentators. We are not paid, and we are volunteers, and nobody else wants to get in front of the microphone.
Ellie had a lot of height up on that one. She did come up a little short on it, but the height would get her some points. 5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5.
All right, Brooke Bailey going to be doing a back somersault half twist free with a 1.7 difficulty. Thank you to Southern Title and Closing, People's Bank, and Farmers Bank for being sponsors to help us be able to do this meet.
I did just get a text message. It's because they love to listen to us because they make us laugh. We make them laugh.
Because we're
5s across the board. Hey, if we can make you laugh, that makes it all better. At our expense, we're good.
Those who have our cell phones, just send us a text. Tomorrow, you will be able to comment. We've got Mallory Gilbert doing a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7.
That was a good-looking dive. She went in pretty straight and pretty good height. 5 across the board.
We do apologize for the beginning. We were rather rushed. We thought we were going to be able to do some intros and, talk about things, and that did not happen. So Leah Richards going to be doing an inward somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty.
Leah Richards did a inward somersault.
Waiting on scores with bated breath. I think they're debating whether it was a completed dive.
Although we did get our scorecard just texted to us, and we ended up with a 5.5, a 6, a 6, a 5.5, and a 6. Her scores were 2, 2, 2.5, 2.
Yeah, I don't know what our average is. I think we're a good solid 6 on a difficulty scale of 2.3. There we have it. Raquel Webb is up to do an inward somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty. See, now we're getting in our groove. We're like feeling it, and we're on dive 10.
Yeah, well.
We're on dive 10.
Hey, at least we got there.
Those lasted with us.
That was a nice looking dive.
Yeah, Hannah did well on that one. That was a good dive.
Raquel, you mean?
Oh, that was Raquel. Sorry, I had flipped pages.
6, 6, 6, 5.5. So that was a really, really nice dive. What was the difficulty on that one?
He asked me this after I've already flipped the page. 1.6. All right, Hannah Moss. Back somersault half twist free with a difficulty of 1.7. See, we need about 10 more dives because we've found our groove now. We're good. We're ready to rock and roll. And we're almost done.
Hannah did a nice little dive there. I want to say that's going to be in the 5s. 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 5. Great job, Hannah.
All right, Mr. Daniel Sanderson doing a forward somersault half twist free with a 1.7 difficulty. I really challenge all of you out there to say some of these really quickly. They're the tongue twisters.
He got a lot of height, and he got that twist in at the end. So I think that's going to be decent. Little over rotation. 4.5. 4. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. Good dive for Daniel.
All right, Connor Covington, forward somersault, one twist free, 1.9 difficulty for dive 10. We do have one more after this.
Connor did not quite complete that dive, but you are allowed one failed dive.
Oh, you are?
That's the
allowed
only
one
thing that is the only thing I got out of that small conversation.
We tried to have a conversation to find out about 10 dives and drop one out of the 11. No, we did not find that out. We were not clarified. All right, Wyatt, Mr. Wyatt is back on deck to swim, or to dive, a forward somersault straight, 1.6 difficulty.
Looked pretty good. He did slightly twist, so they're going to give him a deduction for that.
How do you know that?
5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5.
Did you just make that up? How do you know that?
Because he twisted. He didn't say twist.
All right, Trenton is going to do a back dive half twist straight, but it's a half dive twist straight. So what does that mean? Can he not twist?
He doesn't bend his body. It's straight. When
This
you
has
do
a
commentary,
1.8%.
when you
This
do
has a
commentary
1.8.
with your wife, he went in really
He
clean
did.
there.
That
He went
looked
in
really
really
clean.
clean. I don't know if he got the whole twist though.
He did.
3.5, 4.5, 3.5, 4, 4.
All right, Tate.
Tate Stevens, back somersault.
Tate Stevens is going to be doing a back somersault half twist free. I still don't know what the free means. I've tried to figure it out by some process of elimination of watching these. This has a difficulty of 1.7. But I have not figured out what free means. And again, if we had commentary turned on in the YouTube, that is not Brian Lee's fault. We
Tate
could
Stevens
figure it out.
had a nice dive there. I think he's going to be in the 5s. 4.5, 5, 5, 4.5, 5.
So now somehow my husband in 10 dives is now a professional judge because he knows what the scores are going to be, which I don't know how this happens, but it does. Grant Wiggins is up to do a back somersault straight with a difficulty of 1.7.
We are here for your Friday night entertainment.
But the diving, we love diving. We just don't know much about it, and we would learn if we had a child that dove or did diving. I don't know which is the correct way to say that.
4.5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Our child would faceplant, and I love our child.
Our
She
18-year-old
needs to just swim.
definitely would face plant in the diving. All right, Chris Taylor, he's going to be doing a back dive half twist straight. Another one of those twist straights that we don't understand.
Now I do want to watch Chris because
It's a 1.8.
he's got his foot taped and he's been limping around back there. So I think he hurt himself.
He hurt himself. We missed that.
Yep. See, he couldn't push off with that
he's hurt
foot.
Himself. That just hurts.
He did get he got a score on that though. Yeah, he's not feeling good.
Yeah, he's
3,
really hurting.
3, 4, 4, 3.5.
And his
Yeah, he was limping back there. I saw that a
Yeah.
little bit ago when we were
And
laughing,
his
but
last
I
dive
did
is a
see him.
2.2.
He's not
Yeah.
happy right now getting out of the
No,
pool, and he
he's not.
is in pain.
Yeah. All right, Sydney Covington is going to be doing a back somersault straight with a 1.7 difficulty.
Great height. I'm not sure he got straight up and down, but he had good height on that one.
4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
4.5. 5. 4.5. 4.5.
All right, we're starting into the 11th dive. We have a number of divers who are doing their most difficult, difficult dive of the night. Some are not, but a lot are. So this is Miss J.C. Key. She's doing a forward 1.5 somersault tuck that is a difficulty of a 1.6.
That was JC's last dive of the night. 4, 4, 4.5, 4, 4.5. And these young ladies and gentlemen have worked so hard to get here, and we all should be very proud of them.
All right, Izzy Ragsdale from Bauxite doing her last dive of an inward somersault tuck, 1.6. I have to speak quickly because she dives quickly.
Quite a bit of height. Don't know if she got the rotation in. Looks like she did good. 5, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 4.5.
All right, Kaylee Conley is going to be doing a forward somersault pike, 1.5
Forward somersault pike.
for her 11th dive. And I think my husband is quit keeping score because he doesn't know which dive is not going to count or what's going to happen here. So he's not keeping score anymore.
That was a good dive by Kaylee. She really got up in the air, and she came in pretty straight. I think she's going to have high scores. 5.5 across the board. Good job, Kaylee.
All right, Allie Carter going to be doing a back somersault, one twist free with a 1.9 difficulty. It is her most difficult dive.
And Allie is a senior, if I remember correctly.
Allie is a senior. Allie did not give us any information, so we cannot verify that, but I'm pretty sure Allie is a senior.
She's on the pictures in the wall
She
behind
is
us.
a senior, yeah.
Allie did a nice back somersault, one full twist. 4.5, 5, 4.5, 4.5, 5.5.
Okay, we've got Brooke Bailey. Her 11th dive will be a forward 1.5 somersault twist, tuck, with a 1.6 difficulty.
Brooke Bailey. 4.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 4.5.
Mallory Gilbert is going to be doing a forward 1.5 somersault tuck, 1.6 difficulty. So it should be fun to watch. See, that one looked a lot more difficult than some of the others.
Mm-hmm. And I think she 4, 4.5, 5, 5, 4.5.
All All right, Leah Richard is going to do a reverse somersault tuck with a 1.6 difficulty.
Again, thank you, Farmers Bank and Trust, for being a sponsor for this event. Leah Richards. Also, I'd like to take time to thank Southern Arkansas University for being sponsors and then allowing us to have Brian Lee. 2, 1.5, 2.5, 2.
Raquel Webb is going to be doing a forward 2 somersaults tuck with a difficulty of 2.2. This is her second highest, most difficult one that she does.
Wow.
Wow.
That's all I got to say. Wow. There was not much of a splash. Lots of spinning. Good. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.5. I just wonder how they can orientate.
I do not
they
know.
do that.
I do not know. All right, Hannah Moss is going to be doing a reverse dive tuck, 1.6 difficulty. See, some of the kids put their most difficult in the middle.
I wanted to take a minute and thank Southern Title and Closing for their sponsorship. 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 5. Also, People's Bank for their sponsoring.
All right, last dive for the boys. That finished out the girls. Some of those girls, that was their final dive of their diving career. Daniel Sanderson's going to be doing a forward 1.5 somersault tuck with a difficulty of a 1.6.
Daniel had a lot of height. He did just slightly over-rotate, but it was a difficult dive. 3, 3.5, 4, 3.5, 4. Also, I'd like to take a moment to thank Bodcall Bank for their sponsorship.
All right, Connor Covington is going to be doing forward 2 somersault tuck with a 2.2 difficulty, his most difficult dive.
That was a pretty good looking dive. That was high difficulty, huh?
It was.
He's going to get
2.2.
points
I mean,
even if he
yeah,
doesn't get
2.2.
great scores. 4.5, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 4.5.
All right, Wyatt Simmons is up to do a reverse dive straight, 1.8 difficulty, which is his second most difficult. He did his 1.9 right in the middle.
I'd like to take a moment also to thank Laura Kroll, Edward Jones for their sponsorship, Gwen O'Gwen, Becky White, and Tammy Rogers with Central Elementary. Wyatt got really high and went in straight, so I'm thinking he's going to have good ones, good scores.
He has so much strength getting like spring off the board.
4, 4, 4, 5, 4.
All right, we're starting into a number of forward 2 somersaults tuck. And Trenton Owens is going to do this for his 11th dive, and it's a 2.2 on the difficulty.
Centennial Bank, thank you so much for your sponsorship. We couldn't do this event without you. That was really, really hard dive. He did not quite, he couldn't stop, but he's going to get decent scores. 3.5, 3, 3, 4, 3.5. Trenton Owens.
All right, Tate Stevens also going to do the forward 2 somersault tuck, 2.2.
Bank Corp South, we appreciate you and everything you do for this event also. Tate just over-rotated a little bit there too, but that is...
It's such a hard dive.
I mean, 2 somersaults, it's trying to orientate.
And tucking at the same time. All right, Grant is also going to be doing the forward 2 somersault tuck with a difficulty of 2.2.
Grant Wiggins, forward 2 somersaults tuck.
Oh.
He went in pretty
Did
good.
did he get all of the rotation? Did he get all?
Yeah, he got it all.
Yes, he did. I couldn't.
4.5,
And,
4.5, 4, 4.5, 4.5.
and he's so tall to get all that. That's tough. All right, Chris Taylor.
Now,
Another one of the forward 2 somersault tuck group.
And Chris has got to do this one on the injured foot. He's going to
Yeah.
unwrap it right now and hope that it doesn't
I'm
affect
hurting
him.
for him. I'm really hurting for him. So we're all just like, oh, okay.
He's been a warrior the last couple dives.
Yes, he is going to. He's going to be able to do this. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
he did.
Sorry,
he got all the way
everyone.
around. We just didn't want him to get hurt. He
I
did all.
know.
He was excited. He was excited about that. Look at him come out of the water. He was excited.
He did it.
5, 4.5, 4.5, 5, 4.5. Good job, Chris Taylor.
He's excited he did it. All right, Sydney Covington, last dive of the night, forward 1.5 somersault pike with a difficulty of 1.7. Oh,
And he's a
that ended
freshman,
really
right?
Well, yeah.
That was amazing. That was a
Some
good dive
great
right there.
freshman
1.5 somersault. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of competition in the 4A. 5.5, 5.5, 6, 5. We do want to take some time
While they're doing the scoring.
and invite
they're
you to
gonna-
watch the swim-in tomorrow. And while we tongue-in-cheek, we don't know anything about diving, so we are punting and just trying to announce this for you. Swimming, we do know a lot more about. We'll still probably be making you laugh and make you roll your eyes, but we will do a better job tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Now they're going to be doing the awards over on the stands over here and over to the left of the diving boards. I'm trying to orient myself of how you're seeing it. And so they're going to be doing.
I don't know if they'll be doing the awards tonight.
Are they doing the awards
trying to
tonight
get
or
that.
tomorrow?
I'm not sure. I'm going to ask somebody.
All right, so we have found out, thank you for your patience, we have found out they are going to be doing live the awards tonight for both girls and boys diving.
You know, you think about it, there was a lot of freshmen tonight. There's some seniors, and we're happy to see them, and we were so glad they're involved. But I'm really excited for Southwest Arkansas and what's going to be going on with the diving over the next couple of years. Because a couple of years ago, there was only about 3-4 divers. And how many divers
Right.
did we end up having tonight?
I think we had 19, because I think we had 11 girls and 8 boys, I think. I will have to count.
But, I mean, that's just a testament to these coaches, these schools that are finding another avenue for these kids to get involved. Because some of these divers don't swim. They just dive. And that's an avenue for them to be involved in their high school programs. Just thank you, all the schools, for forward thinking and doing this for these kids.
Right. Well, and tomorrow there's been a modification because of weather up in North Arkansas, making sure that teams that are in North Arkansas can get here at the right time. They are not going to be starting the meet tomorrow until noon, unless that has changed. And so we're going to announce the awards as Coach Vogan does so that you can follow along.
Yeah, they're just trying to tabulate.
And we've watched, if any of you who are watching have watched the live streams of swim meets, this happened last year. about to start the state swim meet and found out they were just going to use the PA system, which all of us who have watched these remotely know that the PA system coming across the live stream is absolutely pretty terrible. And so
There may be a couple people thinking that with our live stream too, though.
they think that with ours. Again, we are unpaid volunteers, so please have grace with us. But we should have the commenting back up on the YouTube stream tomorrow for the swimming, and that is actually really helpful for us because we tried to get information on every swimmer and to try to get some interesting bits and pieces here and there to give to you. And about half of them gave us information back. So the live stream commenting does help to give us additional information. So we'll look forward to that tomorrow.
Yes, and we learned actually quite a bit last year. We learned a lot on the live stream with the commenting of, I mean, there was a couple that were watching their grandchild from Germany, or their child. It was foreign exchange. So they were watching it in Germany, which was amazing. We had somebody watching it from Alaska last year. Found out some kids that were swimming, where their brothers were swimming at college. It was very interesting. So please join us tomorrow and do text us or live stream us.
And we'll just ask for forgiveness now for anything.
I do want to take a minute and go through some of the sponsors again. I know we've said them a couple times, but we didn't have a lot of times. Farmers Bank and Trust, they're involved and they give, and it's just what we need for these sports and just these events. We have Southern Arkansas University, great university that they are giving the swimmers bags, T-shirts. They're helping host the hospitality room. They're doing a great job. Thank you, Southern SAU. And then they allowed us to have Brian Lee, and that is we would not have this without Brian Lee.
Right.
And we appreciate him and appreciate everything he does and putting up with us. Bodcall Bank, we appreciate everything you do. Thank you for being a sponsor. Centennial Bank, we also appreciate you. Edward Jones, Laura Kroll, my beautiful wife, the other person on this, thank you so much for everything you do for the community. Central Elementary, Gwen O'Gwen, Becky White, and Tammy Rogers, thank you. Thank you for doing everything you do. Southern Title and Closing. Southern Title and Clothing.
I think we got in trouble for that one.
We did
last
get
year.
in. I didn't say the right thing,
and
I'm sure I'll get a text message now.
But we're saying it correctly
Thank you,
now.
Southern Title and Closing, for everything you do. And then when we say in trouble, we love them. They're great.
They're great people.
They were just jabbing at us, and it's amazing. People's Bank, thank you so much for what you do, and Bank Corp South. All the sponsors. We couldn't be where we are if we didn't have them. The Dives teams are over there taking pictures. We have a couple seniors. Looks like a couple misty-eyed seniors over there. No one's going to be there.
I'm not going to get misty-eyed.
I'm going to.
I mean, maybe tomorrow.
I am.
Because it will be Olivia's last swim meet of her swim career. She will be, she's our 18-year-old, and so she'll be swimming her last one, and there will be several other parents with us who will be crying those tears.
Little misty-eyed. You may hear my voice crack.
Yeah, you may. There's not a may about that. You will hear his voice crack.
I'm a crier. It's okay.
But we've still got a long time to be doing this, since we have a 9-year-old and we have a 7-year-old. So we are unpaid volunteers, but I mean, we can take payment in other forms. We've had some people texting us saying, but we look forward to when they soon start the awards to find out who has won the top 3 spots in 1A to 4A state.
She is
swim.
just pulled them off the printer.
It looks
She's
like
handing them to
Miss Hannah is handing them, getting ready to hand them to Coach Vogan.
Double checking something, but she had them off the printer there, and we saw. So it will be a couple more minutes. Tomorrow's schedule, you were talking. We are going to be here starting tomorrow at noon.
At noon, yes. We start tomorrow at noon. They will be doing the awards after every race, after every boys and girls race. So that does kind of break things up quite a bit.
So just kind of to give you an update, 9:30 to 10 is going to be warm-ups for a lot of the teams. And then... We're done? Yeah. 9:30 to 10 are going to be warm-ups, 11 lanes of warm-ups. The second set is going to be at 10:30. One-way starts are going to be at 11.
We're not going to be videoing.
No, we will not.
Broadcasting the
but we
warm-ups.
will be here
just in case
just so
anybody
you know
was
that your
concerned
kids,
about
if you
this.
haven't got your swimmers, if they hadn't got the update, I mean, obviously the coaches are going to take care of it. Coaches meeting at 11:45, and we're going to start at 12. We are going to probably be on the air a couple minutes early just to make sure.
Well, let's tell the funny story though. The funny story is that Coach Vogan's watch is set 5 minutes ahead of time. You know, it might be an indication that you're occasionally not 5 minutes ahead of time, maybe late. So his watch is set 5 minutes, and they called out to start, and we're like, no, we're not starting yet. But yes, they did.
But yeah, again, we'll start a little early, and you'll have to, I guess, listen to us, and but we'll have some more information tomorrow. There are a lot of good things that are going to happen tomorrow in those races. I see there's some. I was looking at some of the heat sheets, and there are going to be some tight races
there's
tomorrow.
There's some tight ones, and I think there's a few that are trying for school records.
School records, and I think we have two. If I remember looking right, that could get the state record. So, and Brian Lee, and we're going to kind of work through the angles tonight. We should have a good setup tomorrow. We're really excited, and we want to thank Brian. The work he's put into this, and it's not like he's had a long time to prepare.
Nor did he have anything else to do this weekend. He did, and he basically dropped everything to make sure that these kids and families had the ability to have a great live stream and for the state meet, and that you could watch it from anywhere. So we so truly appreciate Brian and his willingness to help us out.
So last year, if you're listening to this, a fun thing that happened is last year, the not so fun thing is we had COVID protocol, so we could only have a certain amount of people in here, and we do this year also. But we had a whole bunch of people gather at a restaurant in Texarkana that has a lot of TVs. And they ended up going in one end of the restaurant, and they turned on the live feed in the restaurant.
In the whole restaurant.
In the whole restaurant. So there was like 50 people on one end of this restaurant, and it was...
listening to us.
And it was amazing because we were getting interactions. All right, we're going to get the awards going here.
We are getting going.
For the girls.
All right.
In sixth place.
Girls in sixth place.
With a score of 231.0.
Mallory Gilbert. Congratulations, Mallory Gilbert.
In fifth place.
Allison Carter.
And Allison is a senior.
In fourth place. From Magnolia, Kaylee Conley. With a score of 256. In third place, Hannah Moss from Arkadelphia. In second place, Izzy Ragsdale from Bauxite. Congratulations. In first place is Raquel Webb. Awesome job to these ladies.
Yeah, so in sixth place, it was Mallory, Allison in fifth, Kaylee in fourth, Hannah in third, Izzy in second, and Raquel in first. Great job, ladies.
Great job. For the boys, sixth place from Clarksville, Trenton Owens. In 5th place, Clarksville.
And Chris is the one who injured his foot, so that is great.
Yes, Chris. In 4th place, Tate Stevens.
A freshman.
In 3rd place, from Magnolia, Grant Wiggins. In 2nd place, Wyatt Simmons. And in 1st place, from Arkadelphia, Sydney Covington, a 9th grader.
You know, the boys was only 3 points difference, 5 points difference between 1st and 3rd. Again, we had Trenton in 6th, Chris in 5th, Tate in 4th, Grant in 3rd, Wyatt in 2nd, and Sydney in 1st. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you for a great evening.
Thank you for a great evening, and that will be the end for us tonight. Steve and Laura Kroll, we have had a ton of fun. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope you will join us again tomorrow at noon, just before noon, when we start the live stream, and we'll do the 2022 1A to 4A State Swim Championship. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, and have a great night.